Stocks our strategists feel are poised to deliver positive returns are featured now in their top stock picks of the week.
Welcome to this week's Top Stock Picks of the Week. I'm Tracey Ryniec, and I'm joined this week at the chairs with Brian Hamilton. And we're going to talk about a semiconductor company that's already reported earnings and the king of the restaurants that hasn't yet reported but will be this week. Brian, let's talk about your company, which is the semiconductor company.
Yeah, Micron Technologies. About 2 weeks ago, they reported earnings and absolutely crushed both the Zacks consensus earning and revenue estimates. They saw revenues increase by 91% on a year-over-year basis. Now, management saw two major reasons behind the big beat. One, the demand in both domestic and out of China were increased. Secondly, they were able to increase their average selling prices between 3 and 5% for all their products. This also helped produce gross margins of over 50%. Now, management thinks that this trend is going to continue through 2018, so they increased both earnings and revenue guidance.
Yeah, that was my question about the semis, because that's been the kind of the question mark out there by everybody, not just me, is they're very cyclical, and you get a lot of demand, and then they produce a ton of supply, and then that meets the demand, and then they're oversupplied and the price drops. But you're saying that they don't think that's going to happen for at least another year.
Right. They believe that 2018 is going to be the big uptick, but they also believe that the demand is going to outstrip supply, because a couple of years ago some of the competitors left because of the cyclical nature of it, and so now they're going, I'm going to produce as much as we can, but we're still not going to be able to meet demand. And they can also still increase their selling price once again. And so analysts love this news, and so they absolutely we have a unanimous consensus here where everybody who covers it increased estimates for the next 2 quarters and the next 2 fiscal years. And when that occurs, as you know, prices tend to jump. And as we can see here, we're up a little over $40. I believe in the end of March, you added them to your value investor. We're at around $25. And so I actually believe they still have much more room to grow here, given the cyclical nature that the demand is going to outstrip supply.
Well, they are really cheap still, so
yeah.
I do like them. They're trading with single-digit PE because that big increase in the earnings estimates that you just showed.
Right.
So there is a lot of good things going, and you do have to like this chart. I mean, they clearly are breaking out here, but all the semis are. It's the hottest sector other than the financials right now. So
It's a great sector to be in right now, and specifically with Micron, given their future prospects.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about my stock, which is the king of the restaurants, I like to call them, Domino's Pizza. A lot of people kind of disregard Domino's, but they really shouldn't, because they've been doing great comps for at least a year and a half now, including double-digit comps. Last quarter got a little bit harder for them to do year-over-year, quarter-over-quarter growth that they've been doing. So they took a little bit of hit last quarter, but the estimates are still looking so good for Domino's. They're reporting this week, so we'll see if they, what happens there. But analysts have just been raising these estimates because of those good comps. Now, a little bit of the question has been international with them, which is about 50% of their revenue. And that comp came in only at 2.6% last quarter. That was under what we've been seeing, like 4 to 5% international comps with them, and it's been the domestic side that's been really strong. And that wasn't bad. That was at 9% still. Like any restaurant company in America would take a 9% comp right now. That's the top of the line right now.
Well, I know that domestically it's been the millennials who have really been driving Domino's. How are millennials looking on the international side for Domino's?
It's the same thing. They like the app, and they were cutting edge on starting that first pizza app out of all the companies basically out there, and ordering online. And then you can also order via text and emoji and like all these other things. Yeah. So they've been, some people consider them a tech company now. Right. They do have a large technology division because of the app and all of that, and they have to make sure that all runs smoothly. But it still really comes down to the franchises and then the product. And it's not just pizza. I mean, they've done really well with those bites that they have and those new twists. I have partaken of both those things and like both. As far as this week with the earnings, they have a good track record of beating, as you can see. Only the 4 misses in the last 5 years. So I am expecting another earnings beat, but people are really going to be focusing in on that comp, on the comparables. And then I also brought the price to consensus here, and this is one of the best on the street. As you can see, it's just consistent year over year, basically double-digit growth. We're going to see over 30% this year and expected 20% next year. At some point, Domino's won't be able to do quite as big a comp because it is year over year. So if you grew 10% comps one year and you're doing almost 10% the next year, the third year, I mean, that would be like 30% growth at that one restaurant, which is huge. So that's something to keep in mind, but that doesn't mean the business is bad. It just means, that growth is going to slow just a little bit going forward. So
their own successes kind of hurt them a bit, a couple years out.
Kind of, because the expectations get so high when they have been able to produce this kind of growth. Now, I also have to say on the domestic side, they haven't reached their peak growth here, even though they've been in the United States, since the 1960s. Right. They've been overseas for dozens of years too, but they just opened up in a new country. They just opened up in Slovakia, and they continue to find new places to go to. Yeah. So I still like this story. I used to own it in my own personal portfolio like a year or two ago. I did sell on valuation reasons. It's still expensive at 30 times, but if you want one of the restaurant stocks, this is one you should own. So we'll keep an eye on both of these stocks going forward because we have Micron that has the great upward momentum that looks to be breaking out. And we'll be checking in with Domino's all week long after it reports. If you want more top stock picks of the week, make sure you tune in to Zacks.com because we'll bring them to you every week.